gashed across his face and slit his mouth wide open.
I'm Doug Anderson, an Iraq war vet and former Army bodyguard from New Jersey.
I got to turn it up harder. Fine with me.
I'm Jimmy Smith, a professional mixed martial arts fighter and former math teacher from LA.
India is just one stop on our journey as we explore the world's most dangerous fighting arts. Born on the ancient battlefields of southern India, Kalaripayattu is one of the world's oldest martial arts. Blending amazing acrobatic moves with seriously dangerous weapons, this fighting style is barely known outside of India, but it may have been the source of all Asian martial arts.
You know Kalaripayattu?
Yes, Kalaripayattu.
You know Kalaripayattu? You do it? Let's see.
Jimmy and I are in the southern state of Kerala to learn the secrets of this unique fighting style.
After 5 days of intense training, we'll both be tested in our ability to perform a deadly weapons demonstration. And then we'll see if we've learned enough to survive a full contact, hand-to-hand battle.
I'm really excited for Kalaripayattu. It's such an ancient, secretive style.
Yeah.
You know, there's so little known about it. You can't just look this up and get books on or volumes on this style. It's really well hidden.
In a palm grove outside of Calicut, we get a first look at this rare fighting style that was almost lost to history.
Whenever I hear metal hitting metal, I cringe.
Afraid of its power, the British outlawed Kalaripayattu while they occupied India, and only recently has it begun to re-emerge.
They're hitting really hard.
Definitely, they're swinging full force, and that's a real sword.
Yeah.
And a really thin piece of metal protecting you from it.
This style reminds me of knights in armor. And actually, its roots are pretty similar. Nearly 1,000 years ago, Kalaripayattu was only used by a special class of warriors who were trained to protect kings. Like knights of old, Kalari fighters would fight until death if their master was threatened. But this style isn't all about weapons. When you watch the hand-to-hand fights, you can see why some people think Kalaripayattu is the ancient source of Kung Fu and other Chinese fighting styles.
See the way they throw their hands? Like,
It's a lot like Kung Fu. They spin a lot. They put turns on everything, yeah. That's how they generate a lot of force for a lot of their moves, is spinning.
Spinning and jumping during an attack adds speed and power to every strike, but it's also what makes this fighting style so difficult.
Holy God.
this is going to be tough for both of us because this style is definitely the opposite of the way both of us fight.
I get the feeling we're going to see a lot of that.
Dr. Jimmy, welcome to Kerala and welcome to the lethal land of Kalaripayattu. I'm Guru Sunil and this is Guru Suresh.
Hello.
Dong, you will train with me in the city. And Jimmy, you will train with Guru Suresh in the countryside. Good luck.
In just 5 days, there's no way anyone could learn all the different weapons and aspects of this fighting style. So Jimmy and I will split the difference.
We'll both learn hand-to-hand fighting. But because Doug's always loved knights in armor, he'll head to the city to learn metal weapons.
After you, so yes.
And I'm off to the jungle to study wooden weapons.
You know, in America, we have a lot of different martial arts. A lot. But not Kalaripayattu. So it's one of the few styles that I haven't seen before, that I don't have any experience with.
So you're going to the basic things of martial arts, basic elements of martial art is learned through Kalaripayattu.
Guru Suresh teaches at a remote camp north of Calicut, where he and his ancestors have helped preserve this fighting style for hundreds of years.
I welcome you to Kalari. To enter the Kalari, you will have to remove your shoes.
Like a boxing gym in America, a Kalari is where most of the training takes place. According to tradition, it's built over a deep pit to keep fighters cool in the intense heat. But the Kalari isn't just for fighting. Lined with candles and statues, it also functions as a temple. And before Guru Suresh can accept me as a student, I need to be initiated.
Go down slowly on the ground. You touch my feet.
The initiation involves praying to Hindu gods for protection from injuries and help in focusing your mind. The final step is putting on the kacha, a long cotton cloth, which is the traditional dress of all Kalari students.
Yes, cover. Okay.
It's a phenomenally difficult process. Rarely do I have people tugging at my underwear.
From this day onwards, you are a student of this college. Oh, first, we will learn the snake pose.
Because this style is so acrobatic, stretching is critical. And every training session starts with yoga-like poses, which have always been my downfall.
Go down. It's maybe difficult.
That's one of the hard things about this style, is that everyone's gonna be a lot more flexible, and I'm not very flexible at all.
Come in.
Once their bodies are stretched, the students practice jumping, the source of power behind nearly every Kalari strike.
Okay, you try.
Yes, sir.
All right, once again, you try. Right.
As a mixed martial arts fighter, I'm used to using my strength and weight for power, so catching air is a totally new concept. This, so far, is the style that is the most, almost opposite to the way my body works. Flexibility, I'm not good at, and jumping, I am terrible at. Getting there. After much practice.
You're on the right path.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It's going to be really, really frustrating.
This is my Kalari. It started by my father on 1950.
This is so cool. It's got like such an archaic medieval feel in here. You come in, the floor is hard earth. There's no pads, there's no like modern accoutrements. It's just hard earth, stone walls, and metal weapons.
Yeah.
Are there certain weapons that are considered to be like the original weapons?
The sword and also the flexible swords.
Guru Sunil is a third-generation Kalari Payatu master who's an expert in the flexible sword, a weapon that hundreds of years ago was used to fight battles and duels, but now is used strictly for demonstration.
That's like the most fearsome. If somebody pulled that on me and another guy pulled a gun, I'd charge the guy with the gun first. That's just like ridiculously frightening.
But even more frightening is the first weapon that Guru Sunil wants me to learn, the straight sword and shield. The last time I used a sword and shield, I was only 11, and they were just pretend. But as part of my test, Guru Sunil wants me to master this weapon for a final demonstration.
So yeah, like that. So next, look, like this. When I come forward, you want to go a little back actually, like this. The movement want to be. Yes.
Shuffle.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
A big problem that I'm gonna have with this is just the clang of metal on metal, the clatter of steel on steel causes me to flinch and close my eyes. I'm completely not used to that. So every time he swings down with the sword, I close my eyes, and that prevents me from seeing where the next swing's gonna come from.
A successful sword and shield demo has the look of real fighting, but is actually a highly choreographed series of attacks and withdrawals.
Yeah.
The key to a good demo is control and concentration. And during my final test, I'll have to prove that I can wield this dangerous weapon like a Kalari warrior without hurting myself or my opponent.
Okay.
I've never paid this much attention to instruction before in my life.
Okay. Yes. Turn. Yes, turn. Go like this.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Then stay.
Yes, sir. It's like a stress on my brain because there's so much to memorize and so many little things that I'm getting wrong. But then on top of that, there's the additional stress of if I screw up, this guy's sword comes crashing into my face at 45 miles an hour.
Jump and slash. Come on. No. Look, buddy.
It's nerve-wracking for sure.
It's my first full day of training with Guru Suresh,
Your uniform is really over there.
and I'm definitely not feeling very confident. It's the most complicated uniform I've ever put on in my life.
Like, okay.
Everything about this Indian martial art feels completely foreign to me, but I've only got 4 more days until my final challenge.
Now you are starting the training with the short stick. Mucha.
The machan, or short stick, is one of the oldest weapons on Earth, and one of my least favorite. In the Philippines, I was nailed by a stick that left one of the worst bruises of my life. Fortunately, in Kalari Payatu, the short stick is no longer used for actual fighting, but for demonstrations that prove your agility and precision.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Before my final fight, Guru Suresh wants me to perform a sequence of moves that will show off my ability to block and attack from every angle. And it's a sequence of hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I step, I block, I hit, I block. The sequence is based on ancient fighting moves, but its roots are even more primitive.
Animals are the best fighters. What the cock does is, see, it like this kind of movement. Try to hit here, like this.
What he's explained to me is that everything they do in here, the hand-to-hand movements, the short stick movements, are based on animal combat. They think animals are the best fighters because they're born with that ability. They don't have to be taught. Like two cocks fighting, each movement is based on give and take. I move forward to attack and then retreat as my opponent moves forward. Like when we start off, he hits twice, 1, 2, then he steps. I have to step back. If I don't, we're gonna be here and it doesn't work and I get hit. See? Took one of the fingers. That's what you have to watch out for.
If you train daily, 100 times you practice this, on the final day, you will make wonders, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. I usually said if I train 100 times a day, I'll get it, so I just have to trust him, hope it's enough.
For over 1,000 years, Kalari Payatu has been closely linked to Hinduism. And every morning at Guru Sunil's begins with a prayer to Hindu gods. My training partners seem like such peaceful guys, but their bodies tell a different story.
These guys, every one of them is like riddled with scars. These are just like the marks of a Kalari warrior. It's common, a lot of the time, people get injured in the Kalari?
Yes. Lots of people have.
What's the worst injury you've ever seen?
That's on the head.
Somebody's head?
Yeah, my head.
Your head?
Yeah, my head. Just come to the sword on the head.
Just blood everywhere?
Blood everywhere.
I can't get over like the consequences of this style. If you mess up, you're gashed, man.
Yes.
Most students of this style aren't allowed to train with metal weapons until they've had at least 6 years of practice. But Guru Sunil has put me on a hyper-accelerated program. Yesterday, I was introduced to some crazy sword and shield moves. And today, it looks like we're moving on to knives.
So we're gonna start doing some weapons disarmament stuff, and I'm gonna try to keep myself from getting stabbed using the shawl as a defensive weapon.
Shawls are a common part of clothing in India. But in the Kalari, the shawl is more than just something to wear.
First tie is wrist, actually, here. His wrist, then immediately from on that flow, you want to take him here. Look.
So I start with the shawl. So he comes at me, I'm gonna bait my head in to give him a target, lean away, capture his wrist, bring him in, and then cinch him here. Once he's cinched, I can step through and toss him over my hip. And that'll work on even a much bigger opponent. And once you got him here, he's not really gonna go anywhere, not too easily anyway. It's really all about throwing your opponent off balance, using his momentum against him, using his body against him.
Step back. Take him. Good.
During demonstrations, weapons are a big part of Kalari Payatu. But for one-on-one fights, they use a hand-to-hand style that emphasizes throws, kicks, and open-handed strikes. This afternoon, Guru Suresh is teaching me a series of hand strikes that I'll be using in my final fight.
Slap like this. And again give a slap. For slapping, we use inside. Palm. 1, 2, make a turn, give.
As an MMA fighter, I'm used to punching with my closed fist, so hitting with an open hand feels strange and painful.
You just feel.
Oh, his hands are like leather. Like leather, it's from years of hitting and hitting and hitting.
So this is soft.
Yes.
This is soft. This is somewhere.
Very calloused, yes.
So that's the difference.
The other hard thing for me to understand is the constant spinning motions.
So this is how they go, right? See, yes. This one. So.
In mixed martial arts fighting, it can be dangerous to turn your back to an opponent. But here, it's a crucial part of the style. Another important part of hand-to-hand fighting is the throw. And because sand is a lot softer than the dirt floor of the Kalari, Guru Suresh is moving our training out to the beach. The first throw Suresh wants me to learn is the back throw, one of this style's most unique moves. So he comes in with the overhand right. I block at the bicep here, and I step behind him. Here. Bam. Now my leverage is my butt is underneath his. I'm lower than he is. So when I pull, he goes with me. Right. But I have to get my hips lower than his hips or it won't work.
This back part of mine should be somewhere here.
I haven't figured out yet if the throws are for real-world application or they're for demonstration. I'm not sure. Because right now, it's not something that would throw me in a million years. Now that I've learned the basics of the hand-to-hand style, it's time for my first real spar.
Now you're going to do a sparring.
My sparring partner, Ajayan, is coming at me full force, and I can't tell where the next strike is coming from.
Stop!
And I'm kind of trying to move around, just trying to see what he's doing, and it's weird. It's really awkward. I've never had an experience like this ever in fighting. You're always spinning and moving and looping, and it's very hard to see. It's a very disorienting way to be attacked if you're not used to seeing it.
Right. Right.
If I could turn this into an MMA match, I'm sure I could take down Ajayan. But I'm here to learn to fight their way.
Yes, that's enough. Stop. Enough. Hey.
Fighting hard for me is easy, you know? You go out there and have me bash somebody, I'll bash them, or they'll bash me, and it's great. I love it. Displaying my art form in a respectful way in this style is going to be the challenge. I'm in the southern Indian state of Kerala to learn one of the world's oldest martial arts, Kalari Payattu.
And it's very good for...
This morning, Guru Suresh is taking me to train at a sacred hilltop site where hundreds of years ago, one of the sport's most legendary fighters used to practice. I have less than a week to perfect a short stick demonstration, and Suresh thinks that I'll improve my skills and balance by practicing with a long pole known as a kedukari. Like many of the moves in this style, the long pole training begins with an animal pose.
This is an elephant pose,
which is both the feet flat and their hips far down, so they're really over their base. Where you put your weight is what defines a stance. When you start from nothing, you're the first ones to do it, you have to go with what exists around you, and that's natural environment you live in.
like this.
Yes, sir.
Yes, one step, 3 hits.
Yes, sir. But the footwork here is much more challenging. It's nothing but loose gravel and dirt and red-hot rocks. I can understand how the long pole training will help my balance and skill, but all these moves still feel strange to me. Yes, sir. Guru Suresh told me the 3 things they emphasize in order of importance are flexibility, agility, and then power last. And that's hard for me to understand because, you know, power is what I'm best at. So, for me, it's good that I'm thrust into this arena that I'm not proficient at, that's forcing me to grow in a lot of ways. Kind of put the way I normally think about fighting and martial arts in the background, because it doesn't work that way here. Yes, sir.
These guys spend years and years, pretty much their whole lives, studying this style. I get 5 days to be expected to be at their same level, and in this style particularly, I don't think that that's going to be possible. It's my 3rd day of training in the Indian martial art known as Kalari Payattu. And Guru Sunil is trying to teach me a high kick.
This is pretty much like the Indian equivalent of a slam dunk.
The kick was originally designed to strike an opponent in the head, but today, it's just a way to show off your skills.
Okay.
Jump and kick like that. Huh?
And then fall.
Kick and fall on your feet.
On your feet? You guys fall on your feet, I fall on my head.
No.
Sunil wants to see how high I can go.
Good, okay, good.
The ball is nearly 10 feet high, and I'm at least 3 feet short.
Good, very good.
Right now, it's probably, I don't know, maybe 6 foot high, maybe 6 foot 2 inches at the most.
Yes, okay. Touch! Very good.
I don't have enough flexibility to do a proper high kick. But now, Sunil wants me to learn a kick that I could actually use in my final fight. The double crescent kick.
And the second also come like this. 1, 2.
It's an outside crescent kick where you swing around at your opponent, and then you poise your leg mid-kick in the air and throw a second kick. And then pull it back in.
Yes, 2. Okay, after this, stay. Take back like this. 1, like this.
Oh.
And the second.
So is the purpose of the first kick to knock your opponent's hand down? In cutlery, they use their legs almost like extra hands. He uses his foot on that kick to swat down his opponent's defense. And then when his opponent's arms are down, he throws the second kick to the body. It's really tricky stuff. These guys, they're thinking when they fight, which really just makes this a style that I'm not going to be good at.
Yesterday, I got a quick taste of what I'll be facing in my final fight, and it wasn't very reassuring. Today, Guru Suresh wants to improve my fighting ability by adding a new kick to my arsenal, the spin kick. The power of the spin kick comes from throwing your entire weight into the strike. It starts out here with my right leg, and I turn, and then here when I step, there's a jump and a spin, and then I kick again with my right leg. So it's here and then kick, which I'm really not good at. In order to inflict maximum damage, the target of the spin kick should be the chest or the head, but I can't get my foot higher than his waist.
Jimmy has trouble with the spin kicks. He cannot lift his leg high because he has not such flexibility.
Once again, my lack of agility is hurting my technique.
So Jimmy, instead of doing to the chest level or that face level, you try
Low.
low.
Okay.
So that's
Okay. Because I'm having trouble jumping and getting a higher kick, what he's saying is replace it with a kick that's to the thigh or to the waist level or to the groin. So there's still a jump to it, but it's a much smaller jump and the target area is a lot lower. Even with the lower kick, I'm having problems.
yes, you look.
Sensing my frustration, Guru Suresh ends my day with a surprise.
Familiar with this kind of big elephant?
It's an Asian elephant, one of the most sacred animals in India.
You go to him, you see the tusk, and my friends, you come.
Hey! This morning in the Kalari, Guru Suresh noticed my tattoo of the Hindu god Ganesh
Supposed to be the guru of all knowledge.
and thought it would be fun for me to meet a real live elephant.
The same animal is depicted here. It's a picture of the same animal.
This is the most amazing animal I've ever seen. Oh. I do not believe this. I'm on top of an elephant. I chose Ganesh for my tattoo because he's the Hindu god of overcoming all obstacles. Here in India, my inflexible body has been a huge obstacle, and now I'll need all the help Ganesh can give me to win my final fight.
All right, so now that we've established that my head is completely not safe, let's go practice cutlery.
After a morning of kick training, Guru Sunil wants me to go back to practicing for my sword and shield demonstration. Speed is what makes a sword and shield demo look cool, but the faster you move, the more dangerous it can be. Now, Sunil wants me to spar with his best student, Nadine. And the challenge will be to attack as fast as I can without losing control.
This wins me so badly because I don't breathe the whole time I'm doing this exercise. It's so nerve-wracking. I just suck my breath up, pop my eyes wide open, and hang on trying to survive.
This you can do 3 times.
So now Guru Sunil's thrown in a part where we're just pretty much free swinging at each other with no choreography. He just unloads on me for about 30 seconds, and then I swing at him for about 30 seconds.
Go for one attack. Yes. Go.
My sword missed Nadine's shield, and I accidentally sliced his lip wide open. There's no doubt he's gonna need a trip to the ER for some stitches. It's the worst feeling in the world to injure a sparring partner. And if I could trade places with the Dean right now, I would in a heartbeat.
I was going really fast on the attack, and he just didn't get his shield up in time, or I swung it out on an odd angle. I don't know what happened. It gashed across his face and slit his mouth wide open. And they keep saying it's okay, you know, it happens, but it's not okay because that's me being careless with somebody else, you know? They're really careful when it comes to my safety, and I was just kind of like reckless with his. And I feel like a huge right now.
It's my last full day of training with Guru Sunil, and I'm feeling about as low as I've ever felt before. Yesterday, while practicing the sword and shield, I accidentally slashed my training partner's lip. Nadine needed 15 stitches, and I have no idea if I'll ever see him again.
What really does bother me is hurting somebody else. I really can't cope with hurting another person who doesn't deserve to be hurt. Like yesterday, when I hit Nadine with that sword and he dropped, like, that was the worst feeling I've felt in a long time, you know? And I'm just really afraid that if I continue to practice with the sword and shield, somebody else is gonna get hurt.
Good morning, Doc. So, how are you?
Okay.
Fine.
Very sorry about yesterday.
Yeah, it's okay. That's a part of Kalari Pride. Yeah.
I'd rather just drop the whole sword and shield thing, but Sunil won't let me quit. Today, we're using a wooden stick, and he's going to help me understand exactly what went wrong.
Yesterday, what happened was, from here, it went like this.
It bounced off the shield and went up. Yesterday when I was sparring with Nadine, what happened was I swung the sword and it came at an angle. So he still managed to block it, his shield was in place, but once it hit his shield, it ricocheted off, came across and slashed open his face.
Sunil says the best way to avoid this in the future will be to strike the shield straight on, and not at an angle.
Try to use more blows and punches over here, this area. Actually, we can avoid. You can use this. This and this.
Even with the stick right now, I feel kind of gun shy. Like, I don't want to swing hard. I just don't feel comfortable with it, you know? It's like every time I swing, I just think about hurting somebody, and it's really not what I want to do.
Today is my last full day of training, and in just 2 days, I'll have to show Guru Suresh that I can wield a short stick like a pro and fight a 2-round hand-to-hand battle. In preparation for my final fight, Guru Suresh wants to teach me one last move, the jumping strike.
It's jumping, and when you are coming down, we are attacking the enemy. So we go high and attack the enemy, means you are getting more power to attack.
The idea is to use gravity as a way of adding power to your strike.
The way they do it is basically you're leaping into a strike, and then you're going low, following that momentum all the way down, and then jumping up again. So you're leaping all the time. You're just kind of springing up and down as you attack.
I've learned all the moves I have time for, and now it's time for one last spar.
But change it.
We're ramping up now to get ready for the final fight.
Okay, start.
Once again, my partner is Ajayan, the same guy I'll be facing for the final fight. I'm beginning to get a sense of how they fight.
Guys, please stop.
But I have a long way to go and not much time.
My final fight is just 2 days away, and Guru Sunil wants to help me get ready by having me go 2 rounds with one of his best fighters.
So we're about to do some sparring, so I can kind of like incorporate everything, try to get the kicks, punches, and the throws all tied in together.
Right off the bat, I'm hit with some killer kicks that put me on the defensive. I'm trying to retaliate with a spin kick, but I completely missed the target. round was a nightmare. There's two ways to defend against kicks. Block them, or catch them and turn them into a takedown. And I couldn't do either.
It's tough to catch the kicks because, again, they come from so many different angles. I just went to catch a kick. You don't exactly know where it's coming from, so I kind of grabbed. And then, just so confused.
Round 2 starts off with another flurry of kicks, but this time I catch one. That throw felt great, but now I think I made him angry. If I'm gonna have any chance in tomorrow's fight, I'm gonna have to come on a lot stronger.
My biggest hang-up is just going to be the fact that I can never really predict exactly where their kicks are going to go. In order to fully pull off a throw, you have to be able to kind of time your opponent's attack and know where it's going. And I'm having trouble with that still.
Very peaceful here, very beautiful.
It's my last morning of training, and Guru Suresh has taken me to an ancient temple that doubles as a laundromat. The final fight is tomorrow, and Suresh wants to make sure I can handle the short stick demonstration that will precede my hand-to-hand battle.
He needs to work on sticks again to perfect it more and more.
Short.
So shorter steps and fast movements, so that you can do everything in a small area.
This platform isn't very big. It makes everything much harder because you're looking at where you're stepping as opposed to the stick and what I'm doing with my hands.
Go down, go down.
Practicing on this small platform is forcing me to keep my movements controlled and precise. Two words that mean a lot in a skills demonstration like this one. Ready or not, my training is over, and Guru Suresh sends me off with the traditional Carolyn lunch of rice and curry.
My wife has made it for you.
This is
and
homemade?
it's a homemade.
After 5 days, everything here still feels extremely foreign. I just hoped I've learned enough to survive my final fight.
Thank you so much for everything, Guru Suresh. It's been amazing training here.
So we'll meet tomorrow for the final fight there. Until then, goodbye and good luck.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'll do my best.
Yes.
What I'm really interested in seeing is how Doug's training is different. This has been so challenging for me on such a different side of martial arts. I'm really curious to see how he did and what he thinks of it.
After that, the turn. Good, very good. Go down. Like that. Okay.
I almost stayed in place on it.
Do it once.
What's up, Jim? How are you?
How you doing, Doug? How you doing, sir?
Good to see you again.
Guru Sunil, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
I appreciate all the training.
Okay.
It was a pleasure training with you.
Okay.
Thank
Wish
you.
you good luck tomorrow for the fun.
How you doing, Doug?
What's going on? Training's been good, man. We went through a bunch of hand-to-hand stuff. I focused almost exclusively on the sword and shield. It was like they hand me the sword and the shield, and it was like instantly straight into the deep end, swinging at each other with these things, man. I got scratched up a little bit, which isn't a big deal compared to my training partner, Dean. Yesterday, I took a swing at him and kind of like ricocheted up off his shield and split his entire upper lip wide open. I'm supposed to do the sword and shield demonstration tomorrow. And I don't know, man. I'm really timid about it.
But part of the problem is, you know, when you're gun shy, that's when people get hurt.
Right, and that's...
You know, because the timing's off.
Exactly. I'm honestly thinking about not doing it tomorrow.
It's the day of our final fight, and I can't believe who I see warming up. It's Nadine, out of the hospital and ready to take me on in a sword and shield demo.
What's up, Nadine? How are you, man? You okay? It's good to see you. I'm really sorry about that, man. I didn't mean to do it. You know. I was thinking about it, and I think it's better. It's safer if I don't do the sword and shield. I know you're not afraid. I mean, you're like the bravest dude I ever met. I just, I can't live with it if I mess up. You know, maybe I'll go home and practice for a year and come back and then we could do it. I don't want to hurt anybody.
But if you would like, then okay, no problem about that.
Thank you, Nadine. Thank you so much, man. It's definitely not my nature to ever back down or quit from anything, but I feel like in this instance, you know, I'm not really putting myself in danger, I'm putting someone else in danger.
I can totally respect Doug's decision, and that means I'm up first with my short stick demonstration.
Traditionally, when warriors would fight, their fellow warriors would get them dressed to go off to battle. That's what they're doing now. They're getting me dressed and ready to go.
Doug and Jimmy, for 5 days, you train hard, and it's time. You test your skills and courage. Jimmy, sticks demonstration first.
This is the moment I've been dreading since day one. I'm more of a fighter than a performer, but I'm going to do my best to make Guru Suresh proud.
Let's go, Jim. Jimmy's eyes are just bugging out of his head. He's got to, like, pay such strict attention to what's going on here. If you slip up once in this style, it's gonna hurt. There's no room for error.
Jimmy's moving super fast, but he hasn't missed a beat.
Complicated even than it looks.
It's incredibly complicated.
Yeah.
Your eyes are just bugged out of your head the whole
If
time.
you're off,
paying
you're gonna break
attention.
your finger.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Good job, though. It looks really good, man.
Thanks, man.
Doug,
Good luck, man.
Thanks.
I declined the sword and shield demo, so in its place, Goro Sanio wants me to face a knife attack. The goal will be to use what I've learned about Kalari Payatu to keep from getting stabbed, and then to disarm my assailant with the shawl.
The guy's lunging at Doug. Active but simple. Here comes the scarf, man. Tell me you did this right.
That was a great disarmament move, and Doug made it look easy. Doug nailed his demo. Now it's time for both of us to face the final hand-to-hand battle.
Jimmy, it's your turn. Come.
Yes, sir.
Again, brother.
I'm up first, and my opponent is Ajayan, the same big guy I've been sparring with all week.
After a 5-day crash course in the ancient fighting art known as Kalari Payatu, it's time for Jimmy to take on Ajayan in a 2-round hand-to-hand battle.
Jimmy's opponent's definitely leaner, but he's a little taller, so he's gonna have a little bit of reach.
The fight will be judged on style and strength, with well-executed kicks and hand strikes counting a point each, and throwdowns or knockdowns counting for 2.
Start.
Nice, Jim, nice. Good takedown. Throws are worth twice as much as strikes, and that one was perfect.
Nice takedown, Jimmy. This guy's coming. He wants to fight. Come on, Jim. Nice. Good kick, Jimmy. Good kick. This guy's aggressive. He's just charging in on Jimmy.
Jimmy's spinning like a pro, and that's exactly what the judges want to see.
Nice. Good kick, Jim.
That was a great hand strike, but Ajayan caught Jimmy's nose as well.
Jimmy's face got cut open. He's got blood dripping down his nose.
That round felt awesome. I landed a great throw and a sweet hand strike, but Ajayan scraped my nose.
See, you got blood dripping down your face. You had a couple really nice spinning kicks in there, dude. That was good. Cool. And keep catching his kicks. You were doing a good job with that. Catch his kicks, work the throw.
Great.
Good out there. Looking real good.
He's coming out really, really hard. I got to turn it up harder. Fine with me.
I feel confident, but once you're bleeding, it's hard not to look vulnerable.
All right, man.
Ready?
Good luck, Jim.
Start.
Doesn't matter if he wants to box, Jim. You gotta throw kicks. Good job, man. Keep your hands up. Watch the face.
Nice. Good throw, Jim. Good throw.
It's another nice throw. But because Jimmy goes down also, the points are lost. I've never seen Jimmy do so much spinning, and Ajayan looks totally surprised. Nice. That throw counted for sure.
A lot of his kicks Jimmy's catching. That was a big slam. Jimmy's got like 3 or 4 slams already in this round. Kicks and then coming in, throwing his hands. Woo! Thank you. Good job, Jimmy.
For a guy who felt completely out of his element all week, Jimmy's done an amazing job. Now, it's up to me to keep the winning streak going strong. Moideen outweighs me by 40 pounds and is at least 5 inches taller.
Bar and fight. Doug, please.
So I'll have to depend on my speed and agility.
The dude is gigantic.
Moideen is coming on strong with those kicks. And Doug has no choice but to keep his distance to avoid getting hit.
Doug's having trouble staying on the outside the whole time. The guy's way taller than Doug. Don't go back the whole time. Good. Good. In. After that shot, Doug.
There you go. Finally, Doug's landing some strikes, but they're not doing much damage.
3s and 4s, Doug. 3s and 4s. Good.
That round was all about checking each other out. His kicks are powerful, but if I'm gonna win, I need to start attacking a lot harder.
In a boxing match, I'd want to get in close. But here, where I got to use kicks, I need to be able to stay away from him and wait for that opening.
Start. Good, Doug. 3s and 4s, Doug. Good. Good, Doug.
Doug's finally getting aggressive, and it's paying off.
Get a throw in there, Doug. If you can get it, get the throw. Good. Good, Doug.
That was a great kick combo, and I think Moideen is running out of steam.
Good, Doug. Finish strong, Doug. Good job, Doug. I think that was his best round. Good job, Doug. Excellent, buddy.
I can't believe it. A double victory.
Doug did really well. Did everything right in that round.
And we owe it all to our excellent teachers and training partners. Jimmy and I will never forget this rare experience with one of the world's most ancient martial arts.
Goodbye. Thank you very much.